Hey guys, Brian Stevens here with the National Real Estate Post. I have a really important show for you today. I've got Carl Carter Jr., who is the son of Beverly Carter, a real estate agent that most of you know about. She passed away back in September of 2014, widely covered. And I got to tell you, doing the National Real Estate Post for the past 14 years, it seems like every year we're covering a story where an agent didn't have situational awareness or whatever the case may be, and are putting themselves in real difficult and sometimes dangerous situations. I had a chance to speak with Carl Carter Jr. down in Bentonville, Arkansas, just a few months ago, and I heard his story. And boy, when I heard him speak, I knew exactly who and what he was talking about. So I wanted to invite him on our show today to talk about the Beverly Carter Foundation, something that every real estate agent and lender in the country should be aware of. So Carl, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm pretty fired up for obvious reasons about this topic, and I really think that you raised such a good point, and that is, it seems like this topic continues to come up, and it's tragic that we have to continue to have these conversations. And I think, one thing that really has kind of, been the cause of the Beverly Carter Foundation. It wasn't that, I created this nonprofit because I lost my mom in a very tragic, very public way. It was that as I told my mom's story, other agents would kind of raise their hand and they'd say, "Hey, you know what? I've got a story, and it's not like this is a competition, but it's almost like every agent that's been in the business for any length of time can share a story, or at least can identify with, what it's like to sit in an open house and feel that vulnerability."
Yeah, in my lead up to knowing that we were going to have this conversation, I spoke with a number of agents, and I've heard them reboot stories. And some of these stories are just, again, agents finding themselves oftentimes alone in a house with somebody who they don't know personally. We don't know sometimes as agents who we're dealing with, and it could be something of a breeding ground for people who are predators. Where can I find a vulnerable person? So let's talk about what the Beverly Carter Foundation is doing right now.
So, it's really important to me, and I think it would be for anyone that's trying to create good in the world while also creating a legacy for a loved one that we hold so dear. It's really important to me that we are educating on safety, that we are providing responsible, research-driven safety, safety tips and tools. One thing that I think sets us apart, we're a nonprofit sitting in the middle of a very for-profit industry, which is a little awkward, but it also, I think, makes us unique too, because where there might be, other safety instructors or other folks that want to try to scare agents into changing their behaviors, into, using their due diligence to properly screen every client. Every time I have an opportunity just like this one that you've given me, I'm reminded of my sweet mom, and that we seek to inspire change, and we really hope to just create just enough awareness, not fear or paranoia, but just enough awareness so that people can take a hard look at how they're conducting their business. And, even down to, I've had many agents that, they kind of pull me aside. They wouldn't go on the record and say it, but they're like, truth be told, I am really bad at only screening clients that I have these preconceived notions fit a dangerous profile, so that, it may be someone with a deep voice or someone that looks different than they do. And so in the end, it is our ultimate goal to have this beautiful nonprofit that, it is my hope, inspires change through education, awareness. And I will say there is an advocacy arm to what we do as well. It's not an in your face. It's not, I'm not banging doors down saying, my mom died, the industry didn't do enough. But I really am attempting to frame it in the way that, my mom was murdered. And it's a real shame that the son of a murdered real estate agent is having to step up and form a nonprofit. The industry can do more. We can all do more together. So long answer there, but I'm very passionate about it.
Well, it's amazing how many real estate agents don't engage in best practices. Using the buddy system, working open houses with other agents, checking in with your office, getting, the proper identification of somebody before you're showing them an open house, letting your office or your loved ones know where you're going to be and when you're going to be, so there's a certain level of accountability. I think it becomes real easy for agents to say, well, that can never happen to me, and it becomes easy to kind of take those best practices and push them aside because we want to be in service of those who honestly intend to buy houses. Best practices. I mean, I think it's a huge thing, and I hope that's something that you guys are also advocating for, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that it's hard for people to, and I think we all know this, to sit through a training class when the instructor is saying things that already, or you should be doing, but you're not quite doing. So it's hard to get motivated to get in a seat of a class like that. But really, to your point, I mean, those are the things that we have to find. The message is the same. A lot of those anecdotal things that seem very basic, we're just not doing them as an industry. So we have to find, and I think that with us being an educational nonprofit, we have the challenge before us is to find a way to tell that story and to show how, doing these best practices extend beyond safety. It makes your business more efficient. You waste less time, and here's some cool technology to do it. And it's through really thinking creatively and making it not just this doom and gloom safety message, because you're right, a lot of people, self included, are like, that's never going to happen to me.
Well, and what I really hope conveys in this, and I'm sure it will, because as I said, I saw you speak before, is for any agents who are watching this video, it can never happen to me. And again, I really appreciate you saying you're not out there trying to spread fear, but there are best practices. And, this is a story that is very personal and intimate to you, as it is to a lot of people across the country who became very familiar with your mother's story and your story by extension. And so I really appreciate you sharing this with our audience. And if realtors or lenders out there want to participate with the Beverly Carter Foundation, you can certainly do so. And all you have to do is click this banner somewhere in this ecosystem. It's around here. If you can't find it, it's the BeverlyCarterFoundation.org. The BeverlyCarterFoundation.org. And again, I think this is something that every realtor and even lenders in the country, I would appreciate you going there and participating with this fantastic nonprofit organization, which is here for, frankly, all the wrong reasons. With that said, Carl, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you so much for shedding light on this vital message.
Thank you.